put down the phone for just a few minutes. I'm going to talk about a topic today that nobody really likes to talk about because relationships are meant to be private, which I'll just say it without getting too opinionated. I totally agree with that. I believe that relationships should be private. And a lot of it should be kept maybe off of social media. I think we can all agree that although social media has its pluses, people get a little bit too personal when it comes to talking about their dating life. So, yeah, that's that. But the reason why I put down the phone is because I want to talk about something that is really, I guess, crazy in culture right now, and specifically with guys. And I'm a guy, so I can talk about this. You'll never hear me talk about a girl subject on my channel. You just won't hear it because I'm not an expert when it comes to girl stuff. I would never tell a girl what makeup to wear. I would never tell a girl what t-shirt to wear. If they ask me and they're a friend, or if I do have a girlfriend, I'm going to say you're beautiful. I'm not going to get involved in your business because I'm a guy, and you should be proud of what you are for that. However, though, something that I do feel like I should talk about is the dating life when it comes to men and how dating apps are honestly hurting men. So let's get started. First off, the odds are against men when it comes to dating apps, and this is a really big one. When you think of dating apps, Tinder comes to mind, Hinge comes to mind, Bumble comes to mind. If you're somebody else, maybe Grindr comes to mind. Whatever the case is, though, a lot of people experience dating apps at some point. And look, before I get deeper into this conversation, for some people, dating apps are amazing. I know somebody in my family who's a cousin that ended up meeting somebody, I believe, over Facebook. So not over a dating app, but obviously over online. And they've been married ever since, and they have kids, and they're living the dream. And I see wonderful photos of them as a family on social media. And it's amazing and crazy to think that they met online. They didn't meet in person. So for some people, online meeting works and it leads to marriages, which is wonderful. Congratulations for guys who do have that. However, though, I don't think that is the case for most guys. On Tinder, 72% of users are men. And I want to start with Tinder because when you think of dating apps, Tinder comes to mind for men and women. And 28% are women. On Hinge, it's 64% men, 36% woman. On Bumble, which let's just be honest, Bumble's not as big as Tinder or Hinge, but it's people have heard about it if you're a Gen Z or millennial. On Bumble, it's a little bit better. It's 60 to 40. However, though, again, when you think about it, Tinder, 72% men, Bumble, 60% men. You still basically got that two-thirds majority that is always going to be men on the dating app. So that's a big thing right now. And because of that, what does that mean? Well, it means that guys are going to match a lot less than girls because girls got a bigger pool to come from. So the first reason isn't political. It isn't because you're ugly or you're hot. It's just statistical. So if you're a guy and you like math, well, math is on your side on this one. You should not be getting as many matches as a girl because of the statistics alone. I wish I had a calculator, but I don't. I could use my phone as a calculator. So the statistics are against men from the start. That's not even getting into politics, which I don't intend to do on this episode, um, for today at least. Anyways, maybe another episode, though. You never know. Let's look at problem two. Matches don't mean dates. Even when you do match, it rarely goes anywhere. The average man gets 1 to 2 matches a day. Women, they can see 15 to 20. This more relates to Tinder, but really all three I've named, Bumble and Hinge included, and other dating apps like Match, and Duet, which are a little bit more minor. But that statistic right there should already tell you something. 1 to 2 matches a day as a man, but if you are a woman, you can get 15 to 20. Okay, now some women are likely to be more beautiful than others on dating apps, at least, and get more matches. Um, and obviously, that's factual. So some girls might get 30 matches a day, and some guys might get zero matches. However, though, just thinking of that right there, women, obviously, from a statistical advantage, as I mentioned a few minutes ago, have a better chance. Um, so again, very, very rare that a man even matches with somebody that they think's pretty or that might have the same interest or hobbies as them, and that it even goes anywhere because just because you match doesn't mean that you're even gonna say hi to each other. Um, I don't like to talk about myself too much in my experiences in public, but I'll be honest, I've been on a dating app. I've obviously matched with girls and sent them a text like, "Oh, I see we both like sports or we both like nature, and I don't even hear back or they don't even see it." So again, when you think about that right there, if a girl's getting 15 matches on day, 15 matches to 20 matches a day on average, and you as a guy get 1 to 2, think of the odds against you. She might not even read your message because maybe she found 5 other guys that have more things in common with her. And again, that just comes down to statistics. So if you're a guy, it's tough, but I guess don't take it personal because the statistics and the math, as I mentioned for the fifth time now, is on your side. And then let's also talk about the number third reason why apps are honestly bad for men. There's a mental toll. Think about the fact men swipe hundreds of times and often get nothing back. I already mentioned what happens on a daily basis for most people, man and female. Um, and ghosting is constant. Again, even if you do match with somebody and you say, hey, we have football in common, we have swimming in common, the ghosting is likely. They might like your message, they might not even see it. So I don't even know if I'd call that ghosting if they don't even see your message, but it's rare that they even look at it. And that's going to take a toll on your health as a guy. And obviously, you shouldn't cry in a corner about it, but it's something to know before going into it, to not take it too serious. And the algorithm makes it worse. It boosts the people who already get attention, um, and hides the rest. So again, if you're a guy that's likely to look better in your photos because you work out, versus a guy who looks like, let's just be honest, looks a little bit nerdy, you're going to be getting less matches there. And the algorithm is not going to be in your favor if you're the nerd compared to the guy who has his shirt off working out in the gym. Um, and again, this doesn't mean that you got to change your persona if you're on a dating app and try to look bigger and have bigger muscles because let's be real, you might get a few more matches, but will they really go anywhere long term or will you only have a bigger mental toll on yourself? So you do have to look at it from that perspective. But yeah, if you are that person and you're not somebody that is at the top, you're basically invincible. And over time, that's going to kill confidence on you. So it really takes a mental toll. And then let's go to kind of step 4. Okay. Maybe you matched with somebody. Maybe they're like, let's get dinner, a girl. And maybe they say, let's go to, oh, I don't want to go to McDonald's. Let's go on a date to a seafood restaurant. Obviously, a girl probably won't ask for a steak dinner, but she might ask for a sit-down restaurant like Chili's or Panera Bread compared to McDonald's or Subway. And say that happens. Well, apps know that men are struggling. So they sell Boost and super likes like that, and that is a big part of it. Um, so people know that like if a girl matches with you and you're in a Boost mode from a dating app, you have money to spend. Even if you are using your last $5 a day on Tinder Boost, which I'm just gonna say it. That's probably not the smartest idea. But if you are, a girl knows, hey, that guy can get me a free meal. And this isn't the case for all girls in our matches. Some people, like I said, the example was somebody in my family. Meeting online worked well. They're married, they have kids, they look happily ever after. And I'm really proud to see that people in my family that I've met from different ways that maybe aren't traditional. So congrats to them. But you really look at it, you kind of pay to play. To get more matches, if you're average or mediocre, you're paying money on dating apps to get that boost. And then if you do match, the expectation isn't that like, oh, let's go. work out at the gym if you're in college. The expectation is let's go to a seafood restaurant or let's go to Panera. So once you do match on a dating app, the first thing is let's have dinner somewhere. And after you have dinner, that's going to cost you some money, $30 to $40 if your first date's at a seafood restaurant. And she could walk away after and just ghost you. And then you're back to square one again. So when you really break this down, matches don't mean dates. You have to pay to play. There's a mental toll um, if you're a guy. And on top of that, the statistics are already against you because there's more men on dating apps. Um, so, in other words, I guess to kind of conclude, it is stacked against men. And look, people meet all different ways, but dating apps are typically not the best way for guys to meet. Now, started on my phone when we started this. I'm not saying that if you're a guy, you should never communicate to a girl on social media or on a dating app because maybe you do find true love that way. But the reality is it's going to be really tough. I mentioned examples and how the statistics are against you, how you do go on a date, you're expected to pay the first time, and how there's a mental toll if there's rejection, and how just because you match with five girls in a month, zero of them could even lead to her responding to your follow-up question, which is we have this in common. So the odds are stacked against guys, and I think it's important for guys to be social, to talk, but to not just rely on dating apps or to rely on social media and to be in the moment, live in the moment, you have a life. And, you know, yeah, it is tough being single, but you know what? If you're single, you can focus on things like your side hustles. You can focus on having more time on your hands to learn a skill, join a band, things like that. And obviously, there's people in relationships that are still in bands, married couples where, the partner, maybe the girl is taking art class Wednesday and Thursday nights, and the husband is playing poker with his friends on Fridays. So again, there's nothing wrong with doing hobbies and dating, but if you are somebody that's single and you spend a lot of time on dating apps, perhaps you should take it back a notch so that you don't have a mental toll on you. So, again, these are just some things that I see, especially the younger generation, Gen Z and millennial. I'm a Gen Z person myself. So, the term Zoomers that they struggle with. And I think it's important to not get too hooked on dating apps. And you might be lucky and find a girl that you date for a year or even get married to. However, though, there is that mental toll, and you don't want to take it, well, too serious. Obviously, you want to be honest. You don't want to be weird. You don't want to scare somebody away. Girls do have concerns about guys on dating apps. I've talked to some very close friends of mine, and they emphasize that like catfishing, or scams or creepy men is something that they're scared about. So it's important to not get too worried about dating apps and thinking that just because you don't get matches if you're a girl, well, a guy or a girl, that it affects your mental health too much because nature is beautiful. And if nothing else, a sidewalk exists for you to walk on alone. Maybe you get a dog instead. Anyways, or maybe one day you match on Tinder or you meet a girl at a religious affiliation or at a party and you end up dating. But if you have to walk on the sidewalk alone, it isn't the end of the world. And if you're on that sidewalk, maybe put your phone down and just enjoy the nature around you. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in to this episode. And make sure you subscribe below because you never know what I might talk about as I do research before I talk about anything. So, what's the worst thing that can happen? You get on Tinder, you get your dream girl. What's the worst thing that can happen? What's the best thing that can happen? Well, you get to enjoy nature alone walking. Either way, there's a road for you in life, and it's important to not get too hooked up in dating apps.